What is co-parenting? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds. And we are talking about co-parenting in this video. In this video, we're going to discuss what co-parenting is, and then I'm going to give you some tips for co-parenting. In fact, whether you are a co-parent or not, these tips that I'm going to be sharing are applicable to every kind of parent. Let's get started. So what does the term co-parenting even mean? People use it all of the time. Basically, all it means is that there are multiple people, usually two different people, sharing the duties of parenting. So somebody might say, but then isn't every husband and wife co-parents then? Why do we have to call it co-parenting? Well, actually, usually the term is not used for a married couple that are living together with the child. But if mother and father no longer live with each other, or they are separated, divorced, or some circumstance like that, then usually we bring in the term co-parenting. If a child has to go back and forth between mother and father for the parenting to happen completely, then that is co-parenting. Co-parenting definitely has some difficulties associated with it. Oftentimes in co-parenting situation, there's a lack of consistency for the child. So the child will start to play one parent against another, or a child will feel like they have to adapt to circumstances all the time. This can be very difficult. Ideally, co-parenting situations don't involve doing two completely different types of parenting. The best type of co-parenting is when the parents, even if they don't agree on everything, do decide to agree on how the child will be parented. And they use the same vocabulary, the same types of consequences, and the same practices. Now, this does require maturity on both parts with these parents who are no longer living with each other for whatever reason. Not all divorce or separation situations end with maturity and end with good open communication. So then these co-parents can have a difficulty coming to an agreement about what is going to happen parenting-wise with the child. In fact, if you have situations where there's narcissism on one side of the parenting relationship, or maybe even on both sides of the parenting relationship, then we have the horrible circumstance where a child is used in the middle as a weapon for that other parent, and that child now is torn back and forth between the one play home and the one home that looks like they have boundaries and rules, but it doesn't seem very fun there for the child. And so then the child's manipulated with its, emotions and what it likes to do. We definitely want to stay away from all of those types of circumstances in our co-parenting situations. So what can you do if you are in a circumstance where you have a mature co-parenting situation? And then what can you do if you're in a circumstance where you're in a co-parenting relationship with someone, but it's not mature? They're trying to sabotage or do things completely different from you. Let's talk about both of those scenarios. But first, do you see that button that says subscribe? That's for you. It's a gift. When you click subscribe, then you end up seeing a lot more videos that can help you with your parenting. So subscribe now. So let's talk about the ideal situation in co-parenting. And I know co-parenting itself is not ideal. I get that. But if you're in a co-parenting situation, the ideal would be the mature relationship where mother and father get together and they decide how they are going to raise the children. Now, I teach parenting courses all over the world, and occasionally people will come to my trainings even though they are not married, but they are co-parenting, and they will decide to learn together how to do self-government in their homes. They will learn the same skills and practices, skills I teach, like following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences and disagreeing appropriately. They'll learn how to correct their children. They'll learn how to use consequences in a way that will influence a heart change and not just a behavior change, but maybe both. They will learn how to have good attachment and bonding with their children while doing correction, so that the child has the best of both worlds. That's the ideal. And if you want to find out about my trainings, I do 3-day trainings periodically. I call them parenting mastery trainings. So you can go to teachingselfgovernment.com and you can look for parenting mastery trainings. You can get signed up for some of those if you're in a mature co-parenting situation. But if you are not in a mature co-parenting situation and you're not able to learn the same skills as each other, and you have one person who's trying to sabotage the other, your best friends are vision and pre-teaching. So what you need to do is help your child establish a vision of what you are trying to accomplish as a family. Let me explain. In my TSG parenting course, I talk about creating a 20-year vision for your relationship with your child. So this means that the parent and the child will create a picture 20 years in the future, or it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, but if the child's young, I go for 20, okay? 20 years in the future, what is our relationship going to be like? Now, obviously, we don't know that answer to that question, so let's ask another question. What do we want it to be like then, right? So let's plan for that. Let's make a plan. Maybe it's a camping trip or a vacation or a holiday or some certain time, maybe Sunday afternoons, that we get together always, and it feels the same every time. We do the same types of activities. We have traditions in the way that we communicate with each other. But most importantly, it feels a certain way. Hopefully there's a unity, a bonding, a connection that we can describe about our relationship way ahead of time, and then constantly keep discussing this vision over time. Use it as a bedtime story for the children. Talk about that vision when you feel other feelings when you're with other people. Compare them with other feelings you might feel when you're with other families that are arguing. And then you'll say, what did that feel like? How does that compare to our family vision? And what do we want it to feel like? Or maybe you just had a moment that wasn't great parenting. Use it as a teaching moment and then fix it. Get back on track with that vision of what you're hoping to accomplish as a family. Now, I do have videos on this channel about vision as well, so you can definitely look up some of those vision videos. Now, what about pre-teaching? Pre-teaching is one of the most important concepts in self-government. The whole idea is that you prepare ahead of time. You make a plan. When you plan for the skills and the interactions that you want to have in the future, those interactions go more smoothly and the skills are more likely to be used. So I have a set of children's books all about the 4 basic skills for children. These 4 basic skills take care of 99% of the behavioral problems that a child might have. The 4 skills include following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. So those 4 skills, if taught to children ahead of time, are more likely to be used. How often is a child going to disagree appropriately with you if they don't actually know the process? Well, they won't. You have to teach that ahead of time. So parenting is all about teaching, right? Do the upfront work. Teach first, then give feedback after actions happen. So feedback might include praising or correcting, and part of a good correction should also involve more pre-teaching. Now, there's 3 different types of pre-teaching that I teach in my TSG parenting course. The most popular of those 3 types of pre-teaching is what I call a situational pre-teach. When your child is going to go and visit another parent because you're in a co-parenting situation, and that other parent does not do things the same way as you, or maybe is trying to sabotage your child or you in a certain way because they're not living according to the vision, then what do? You prepare your child by doing a situational pre-teach. You say, okay, you're going over to mom's house or you're going over to dad's house. And what usually happens there? Do you want to be able to still use your skills at dad's house? Well, what can you remember for using your skills at Dad's house? Or Dad has a few different values than what we've decided for part of our family and our family vision. So we love Dad. We know that each person makes different choices for themselves, but what are you going to do when you're there to maintain your standards and the instructions that you have for yourself? Instructions, remember that first of the 4 basic skills that we teach children is how to follow instructions. Well, once they learn to follow instructions from you, they can learn to give themselves instructions too. So then you help your child prepare for how to give themselves instructions and know answers, how to kind of parent themselves when they're over at a home where the other co-parent is maybe not doing very good parenting or any parenting at all. That helps the child stay the course, feel empowered and confident. And then when the child gets back, you can have a good feedback time where you talk about what happened. Even if the child wasn't successful at maintaining giving themselves instructions and following through, or following through on the no answers that they hoped to for themselves, don't get emotional, just talk about it and make better plans for the future. That's how a really great correction happens. I could go into a lot of details about corrections and a lot more things, but I don't have time on this short video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you out by referring you to another video that you definitely should see. If you've enjoyed this video, then another video that will go into more details about corrections and help you prepare to better self-govern yourselves and help your children self-govern themselves even in a co-parenting situation is the video, The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. So click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.